Welcome to the CFG Gamecast episode number 197, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers who like to discuss the latest gaming topics on the previous week. We stream a new episode every week and release it on all podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love. Do us a favor and give us a like on Facebook, and subscribe or follow on our YouTube, the CFG channel, or go to our main website, freaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today, I got my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Ooh, a cat. Just making you get distracted. I didn't play games this week. I had a spinal leak, so I wasn't feeling good. I've been in bed most of the week, if I'm being real honest. Other than somebody playing GTA in my neighborhood and messing around and finding out, just hanging around. I did we'll talk about it too. I did do a tester on Smitty's swatting smoke.
All right.
I did do a tester of Don't Scream by myself, which we'll talk about. I didn't really do much at all. I played some Labyrinthine, I think is what we played. Maybe. I don't know now. I forget. But yeah, it was a blur of a week, to say the least.
Yeah, that's good. Well, at least are you feeling at least a little better? Is it getting you're on the upside on this, or is it still kind of the thick of
I'm
things right now?
feeling better, but when you have like a really bad cold for a few days and you've just been in bed, so like you're up and you're moving, but you're still kind of like, ooh, I'm scared it's gonna come back. That's kind of how I am. Like the back of my head is still real tingly, and I've got like it almost feels like I hit my head on something. I've got like a knot at the base of my skull. I don't know what I did, but yeah, I don't know. I was having to like swat the cat off my pillow because she would like push her foot into the back of my head, and it felt like someone was like trying to get in my metal plate. It was pretty bad. So I am feeling a little bit better, but now I'm nervous to do anything that it's gonna like trigger it and start it all over again.
Your cat sounds like a jerk right now. Jesus. But you know what?
She didn't mean to. She got little feet. They're like this big, but it's the perfect size to like wedge it at the base of my head. Or she would like move my pillow and it wasn't as comfy on the back of my scalp, if that makes sense.
Right. Hey, but you know what, Lex?
Yeah.
You know who is actually still ticking after being up for almost 24 hours?
Yeah, I do. His name is
the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, my dude?
Oh, it's been a busy week. I'm actually in the middle of a gig over the weekend. I'm working at Arcadia over at our Area 15. It's like this big festival, crazy music. I'm shooting photography primarily and doing a little bit of video. So it's nice to be able to get back into the photography space. It's been a while since I've done any photography, so that's been a lot of fun. So just long nights. Like you said, I didn't go to bed till about 7 this morning. I woke up here at 12:30-ish, late, super late. But again, I appreciate you guys joining us. And also you guys being able to move everything up so we can do it early, because I got to work all night tonight. Like I said, like my last set ends at 3 or it goes from 3 to 5:30.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a long night / day, but all good. So I really haven't played anything as of late. Really, I've just kind of been grinding through a little bit of Exo Primal Season 2. And then the finals beta, which I believe ends tomorrow. But I'm liking that 3v3 team battle. If you haven't had a chance to play it, it's open beta right now. So if you like pew pews, you might want to take a look at it. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I saw some of your stream on when you played it last week, and it definitely looks interesting. Not my kind of game, but it was fun to watch, I will say. So yeah, good deal. I know you've been busy. I've been busy. I was just telling Lex over this. I like normally when I do a podcast recording for the shameless plug, Pop Culture Gems, I usually do one interview a week. This week I did 7. So 7 different interviews at the same time, and this week, which kind of
That's
killed me.
nuts, T.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, right? Hey, but I got stuff now for the next couple of weeks now, so I'm good. And then also I've been working on my review because we got I'm doing a review for RoboCop because I've been playing. God, you know, it's funny. Here's the thing with RoboCop. First off, I love RoboCop. Okay, like
I've never seen
series.
the whole movie.
Oh my god, it is so well. Don't watch. No one accepts what RoboCop 3. No one ever accepts that.
Okay, got it. Understood.
2 is not good, but it's still, you know, it's still classified as the campy 80s kind of thing. But like
I like camp.
So the game itself is way better than I thought it would ever be, to be honest with you. And I am so surprised that this game is as good as it is. It's not graphically, it's rough graphically. But just the gameplay is fun. They even brought some of the original cast members, like they brought the original voice of RoboCop, Peter Weller.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and
nice.
they also brought Alex Murphy, yeah, and his partner as well, the girl. I forget her name. Every time I forget her name. Lewis. Officer Lewis. Yeah, they brought them back. And then they also have some of the likeness of some of the characters from the original series. But I like RoboCop. It's actually a very good thing. And the feel of it makes you feel like you're actually playing as RoboCop, because how the UI works like like what you would see like in the first person view. Very good. It's a very good game. And I am utterly surprised about how good this game is, because when it was announced, I was like, why are they making a RoboCop game? Yeah, it didn't make any sense. Exactly. Doc even agrees, because it says the animation isn't good, but the graphics are you know what, the graphics are good enough. That's what it is.
Right.
It's not like I would say I'm like surprised. Some of the images of RoboCop,
it blows me away. It is mid, like, hey, it's passable.
Exactly. But what's even funny about it is that it's like so you would think of, because I mean RoboCop is a pretty bloody series. Like he kills a lot of people, or a lot of people do die in that series. Especially when I was a kid, Ed 209 was one of the most scariest things when I was a child, in my opinion.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And then when you see it in this and stuff, it's like, oh my god, this is so cool to see. But there's also like detective work that you can do in this game, like because the side quests and stuff is like to solve little other crimes and stuff. I am surprised how good, like how balanced that stuff is towards this. So so my review, hopefully I'll get the review out next week. It's going to be a fun one. A fun thing to talk about, a fun surprise to have. Also, the folks, when I was sponsored by Marvel Snap the last time I was streaming, which was last week, I wanted to thank all the folks who did participate in that. It was freaking awesome. Had a great time. Hit to level rank 100.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So had it was just a fun experience to do. So anyone who did install it and stuff and also watched it, I really do appreciate it. So there you go. And so I know we don't want to go through the rigmarole of me just keep on oohing about RoboCop. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do. Before I do want to thank our CFG members who are subscribed to CFG Gamecast. Thank you so much to Vicky G, as well as Crystal Lake, and then hold on, one more. Dominica. That's a new one. Thank you.
I like that
You're gonna
name.
see the names. You better get them right, David.
Yeah. Hey, they are paying. Hey, they're supporting the stream, so appreciate anyone. Also, folks, if you want to support the stream too, just do !store and then be a part of the CFG. CFG, be a CFG member, and we'll be able to shout you out here on our live stream as well as our podcast. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion in the world of video games. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry, and we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners and viewers on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, to be a part of the conversation. So if you like, excuse me, if you have a comment of what we're talking about, by all means, type it inside the chat. We would love to discuss it with you. We'd like to make this as interactive as possible. So, there's no wrong answers here. So let's get this party started. Hey, I will go first. I don't think I told the order, so I'll go first on this one. I want to talk about what the hell is happening to Bungie because
Ruh-roh.
well, here's the thing though. The bigger outline is this. Sony is getting hit by a lot of layoffs, but the Bungie got hit the worst of all of it. They tried to keep it under the rug with some of their other first party studios. I think there was like 25 that was laid off from the studios who did Uncharted and stuff, as well as
Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they've been kind of under the radar for that. But the worst of it all is Bungie. And in a way, I don't even know if it's really truly Sony's fault for how bad or decrepit of what happened with Bungie itself. But at the same time, I think that Sony is a smart company. They know how to make money, and for them to say we want to buy your company for $4.3 billion. I think it was $4.3 billion that they bought Bungie for 2 years ago. On this, for them to get hit this badly on it because of how badly performed that this company did in this past year is unbelievable to me. Well, first off, here's the deal. So Bungie itself, I believe over 100 people have been laid off currently from Bungie itself. This is streaming from multiple layers of departments within Bungie. Even the creator of the music, the people who El Salvatore, who's done the music for Halo, basically for all of Destiny, all of it was hit by this layoff, which is insane. So that, with that alone, that just says that no one was safe on this, because of how bad they were their profit was from this the past year. What's the most recent expansion that happened? Was it Lightyear or something? Lightfall. Yeah. So things have dropped down. Money dropped. Like the profits dropped in this game by 45%. It was not
a good DLC. It was not a good expansion.
Yeah. So this was already a downhill slide on this, and then plus how throughout that time pacing of like the next expansion that was happening that's coming out in February, it felt really lax from the most part. Like they weren't really hyped up, or there was no energy that was coming towards this because people were assuming that all of their ducats were going to be in the new IP that they were working on. What was it called?
Marathon.
Marathon. So the biggest thing, so with all of this that's happening, but I think the thing that really kind of made it like to add more salt to the wound was that Bungie themselves really didn't acknowledge, like, they acknowledged that there's going to be layoffs. They acknowledged that there was going to be that stuff had to change, but they just didn't say anything. Like they've been quiet on the back end side, especially when there's a lot of different people that were kind of pushing back on like what the hell's happening, what happened, and stuff like that. It took them 5 days to come back to the public to release an official statement, which is, I think, is really unheard of from Bungie themselves, because usually Bungie's pretty good on this kind of transparency of this stuff, which is weird to me. So like I just think that this just seems like a shell of a company that of what it once was, you know. So earlier they did a post. The developer they did a post from the developer. They said that this has been one of the most difficult weeks in our studio's history, as we've parted ways with people we respect and admire. We've spent this week supporting one another, including those who are at the studio, as well as friends and colleagues who are no longer here. And then I'm like, then they said, we know we have lost a lot of your trust. Destiny needs to surprise and delight. We haven't done this enough, and that's going to change. I feel it's way too late for that, because the biggest knock on Destiny throughout this whole time was the aggressive microtransactions that are in this game, and then how they implemented these microtransactions to the public itself. Especially if you're trying to introduce it, it is not new player friendly whatsoever. So like with all these different kinds of aspects, kind of pull and pull. I mean, Destiny's and at this point, Destiny's almost a 10-year-old game. And it has all these different kinds of things and these different kinds of tidbits and stuff, that this is not a matter of of them readjusting or changing the system. They would have to change the culture completely for them to come back. And now with a shell of whoever's remaining in Bungie themselves, which I feel is going to be a ridiculous uphill battle for them to do. It just seems like it just feels like they're in a downward spiral, which I don't see, and I don't know if I can see them get back up from this. So I kind of want to get y'all's opinion on this, like what the hell's happening to Destiny, especially you, Smitty, since you play Destiny, you know. So well,
I'll say off the rip, one thing that I've always respected about Destiny is that they will put out some bad stuff. They will own it, and they will eventually get to a point where they don't give up. You know what I mean? Like, we've been in this spot before throughout the cycle of Destiny. Again, I've been playing Destiny since beta. I'm very personally invested in the story. I'm okay with it. I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed or not, but I think it is that the final shape was actually pushed from February to June, which I'm okay with that as well. This is literally the culmination of this 10-year story. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be amazing. There's high expectations. This does not make me feel good about it, seeing them lose 100 employees. However, and we're seeing this throughout the whole tech industry, everyone is losing. I think everyone overestimated. Things normalize. They have to essentially, trim back because they're way over. And then when you have things where you're going into a major expansion, you projected high pre-sale, and it's not happening because Lightfall was so just meh. We came off of Witch Queen, which was freaking fire. It was so fire of an expansion. Then we got Lightfall, and it was just like, really?
It was EDC Destiny. That's what that was.
Yeah. And then we get back into the exact same cycle, doing the same missions, doing the same events. Nothing's really changing. It gets stale. So you do it for a little bit, and then you just kind of burn out on it. You notice even the creators, the typical Destiny 2 creators, are not playing Destiny 2 right now, or at least not on stream. So it's been waning for quite some time. I'm guessing that fundamentally the game won't change, because they did hang on. I think one point was that, they're saying all this stuff, all these people, these dedicated people, but then there is a note that leaked from the CEO saying we kept the right people. Like that, that's a little backhanded. What I'm saying? Little Salvatore has been on the thing, and Halo. Gorgeous. Like, one of the most memorable things about Destiny is the freaking music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like,
But here's the thing that throws me off a lot about it, though. I mean, the biggest thing is like you're saying, they've been like, they usually are pretty good with the feedback back to the community from Destiny themselves. How this has been treated just seems like something far from what you would ever expect Bungie to do. Like, what changed from that is the biggest thing, because that's what I'm not understanding. Like, did they change the CEO or what happened?
No, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know what, because this is not a Sony thing. This is a Bungie thing. Okay. Yeah, for sure. This is 100% Bungie. And I think they've been seeing, and they've been kind of seeing the writings on the wall from the lukewarm reception of Lightfall and the fact that we're in this stale cycle. And, you know, we're not getting, and not only that, but we also know that there's going to be a whole new thing. The monetization thing in itself is ridiculous. Now they're going to be coming out after a final shape. There's going to be episodes or something like that. Like, I think I might be done with Destiny. I don't know. We'll see. But I can't just keep feeding. I just need to finish this story. Like, I just need to know the end of this saga and how it plays out. Obviously, more happens if they got stuff going on. Not to mention, there's talks about a TV show and them developing a TV show as well. So I haven't heard anything about that. But, like, there's plans to continue this universe. But it feels like what they did too, especially the fact that Marathon, they're clearly putting resources towards Marathon. That's what it is about. Taking away resources from Destiny so they can provide and help bolster Marathon is really what the issue, I think, is, in my opinion. And it feels almost like a player, like they're abandoning Destiny, essentially, for Marathon. And I feel like some of this stuff shows. So it's hard to say I want to keep supporting that stuff. Not only that, but that was real people that lost jobs, that went in all of a sudden. You know, can you imagine not having access? Not only that, but they did it on the 30th. So they say you have coverage until the end of the month. Literally, they were covered for a day. However, some folks did get severance packages with like up to 3 months of their health and this and that. But like, that's not everybody. You know what I'm saying? Garbage. I'm sure Salvatore got that package deal. Oh, yeah. But Joe Schmo over here got a good luck, best of luck in your future. You know what I'm saying? So it was really off-putting. It was very, what I feel, uncharacteristic of Bungie, or the Bungie that I come to love hate.
That's probably the best way to describe it for you. Yes, definitely.
Understandable.
What about you, Lex?
What I find crazy, and I had mentioned this before we started podcast, this had popped up, that 2023 has been the most 90 plus rated games on Metacritic in 1 year for the last 2 decades. So basically, in a nutshell, like 2023 has been the best for gaming as a whole. Supposedly, there have been 25 titles that got an average of 90 or more, contributing to one of the most industry high points that we all feel as great games seem to come out left, right, and center. So that's, to me, it's, I hear that and then I see all these layoffs and it's like, wait a minute. So all of you guys are just overestimating how much you're going to make back on these things? Because that's the only logical thing that I can think of for them to then have to lay off people, is that they're over jumping how much they think they're going to make back, right? And it's funny, I just heard about the Destiny TV show, and then Salvatore gets laid off, and it's like, I'm putting two and two together here. So you're telling me the composer that did all of your games, that is loved by all of the fans for how well he has done, and you're about to make a TV show that's gonna need an audio and musical engineer, and you just fired yours? So who are you hiring instead? Because obviously it's not Salvatore to work on your TV show, right? So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of buzz going on, but none of it equates to, why did you just have to lay off 100 people, right? So I think a lot of
what's
these...
it called? Sorry, but I think I think that like game as a service, especially a game like Bungie, like, because I mean Bungie hasn't made another game since Destiny. I mean Destiny 2. They're going by whatever the amount value of the, how much money they're getting back from the game that they've been supporting for the past 10 years. And if their value of that game dropped 40 something % in just 1 year, is I guess like they could be like, we could have the best we could smash the record of the best gaming, like, gaming year of them all. But the problem is that they are not making new. They don't have any extra sources of revenue.
Right.
They only have one. And
No,
then
and
that,
I
yeah,
totally understand
yeah,
that. I just think that that a lot of these gaming companies are over projecting how much they're going to make back, as a whole.
oh yeah,
Because they're not the only layoffs we've
hmm
heard of. I mean, it's like every week there's another company
Everywhere.
laying off
Yeah.
people, right? So
hmm
to me, that has to speak to something as far as how much their projections are, right? Because they've got backers, they've got money, they've got people that need to be
Right.
paid. So if you're over projecting, you're screwing yourself first and foremost, right? Um, I don't know. It's just really sad, and it sucks because Destiny. I don't play it, but I enjoy watching others play it, and so Lightfall was very disappointing. Witch Queen was so good. It was so good.
Mm.
I liked Witch Queen so much. I was like, dang, maybe I should start playing. And then I realized I can't catch up, so never mind. Because I did the math. I did girl math. I was like, it's gonna take me like 80 hours for 3 weeks in a row to get there. So no, never mind.
It's very
Um,
convoluted too, how they
mhm,
have like the different expansions. Like
right.
the game in totality is expensive
it is
Yes.
for
ridiculously
everything.
expensive. Yeah, it's
It's
hella
very
Yeah.
expensive.
expensive.
I
I did
mean,
girl
that's
math
what
and it didn't. I was like, it's not adding
Yeah.
up. And I,
I
I was like, Adam, will you play for me? He said no.
I think yeah, I think the biggest issues, like, I think especially besides the fact that like, I just think the level, like, well, besides the fact that Sony wasn't on board, like, there was one person that was pushing games as a service for Sony was the reason why Sony bought Bungie initially. As also, I kind of feel like it's kind of reactionary, especially since Microsoft is buying out big companies as well at the time. That but now since he's stepping down, what's going to happen to Bungie is it going to be the biggest is going to be another question. Like, I don't know what Marathon is. 'Cause I know Marathon was a game that they made before a long time ago. And I don't know if anyone has played it or whatnot, but like, if it's not going to be a game that's going to be, if it's not going to be game as a service, or like, what is going to be the expectations of this game if the parent company is not on board with a service like that anymore? Because that's what I'm more worried about, because
But that's why they acquired Bungie. They acquired Bungie for their game as service model.
But the person,
because they want to do more games as service.
Well, that was the direction of what the original leader of that of Sony was going to do, but now he's leaving. That guy's gone. So like, I don't think, and then the reason why was because there was also kickback within Sony wanting to do game as a service,
Right.
To engage. So now we're in a weird predicament. So he's in a weird predicament. On, like, we have a company that we just spent $4 billion who's losing money, who just lost 100 of their that's lost 100 of their people, and then now they're expecting us to get to rein in on profit. It's like they are in a ridiculous in a really hard position. They're in the Kobayashi Maru situation, in my opinion.
I think this is a preemptive move on Bungie's part. So they don't. So it kind of takes the spotlight away when it comes to cuts. They're self-imposing this stuff now to try to get back on the right track. So instead of waiting for it to happen, I feel like they're just making the adjustments. They basically self-imposed it on themselves, hoping that keeps the spotlight away from them and they can course correct into going whatever the direction may be for PlayStation with Jim Ryan leaving. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, like, I'm
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the, like, I really want them to.
I'm sad.
Yeah,
It makes me sad.
It's very the whole situation is just terrible. I mean, it's just a terrible situation. I really hope that everything gets situated here later, and then also hopefully the people, especially during Christmas, man. This is the holiday season, and
I hate Christmas.
And this happened. Yeah, this happens at the worst situation. Jesus. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, it's so we'll see where this is going to go, and I want to see, like, I hope Marathon is going to be worth it, but we'll go from there, you know.
Yeah.
Lex,
Are you sure me or well, I'm pretty quick, so I'll go first. Also,
We're not in
big
any hurry. We
words
have
for
time.
big
We got
words
time.
for
I am in a
Elmo in
hurry.
that in Davis's first one. Good job, buddy.
Wait, what?
I said big words for Elmo because you used a lot of big words in your on your topic, and I said good job, buddy.
Oh,
So I was gonna talk about two things real quick. They just announced
take your
Bendy the
time.
Cage. Bendy the Cage has officially been announced 4 days ago by Joy Drew Studios, who are the creators of Bendy and the Ink Machine. So this will be the third installment. It's pretty interesting. They don't leak too much. They basically just say we all know how it ended, how Audrey stood against the ink demon, how we all came to her rescue in the nick of time. But how did we escape the pit? So that's essentially all that they gave us. So I'm thrilled. I'm excited. So that's number one. Number two, I got Don't Scream. If you guys haven't heard about this, if you scream, you restart. An Unreal Engine 5 short horror experience made by two indie devs. The challenge: explore the forest for 18 minutes without screaming. The catch: time only ticks when you move. It's the perfect game to scare the pants off your friend's family. Microphone required. So when you first load up the game, a video from the devs saying thank you for purchasing the game. It is $9.99, by the way. They talk about, we recommend that you play the game however you want to, but please at first do it how we recommend. And they explain how to fix your microphone if you don't know how. If you have, third party software, how to do it through there, X, Y, and Z. So I was reading the reviews and it's hysterical. The first one that I came across said, "My cat meowed and I lost 10 out of 10.
Are you serious?
Yep. The monster was so loud that it reverberated through my headphones and I lost 9 out of 10. Would recommend. I lost because I burped. Damn it. 10 out of 10. So they have like a 70% of really good ratings. The rest of people are just horror snubs, is what it feels like. So there's not a huge plot to the game. When you get in, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but you see wreckage and you can explore the wreckage. It is found footage. So from a standpoint of somebody who A, doesn't see well, and B, found footage is hard for me to navigate visually, I didn't do too bad. You can turn the gamma up or down, and that's about it. There is no colorblind settings because everything is very like gray, white, black. It's not in black and white, but you do see splashes of red here and there, but it's nothing too crazy. So if you are colorblind, you shouldn't have any issues really. Like myself. So I now, if you remember VHSs, I'm giving away my age. There were little sparkles on the side of the screen if things weren't loading properly. If you didn't rewind your VHS tight enough, you would see little sparkles on the side. And at first, I was like, "Oh wow, my headache's coming back," because that's what I thought it was. I was like, "Oh wait, it's VHS found footage. Of course, there's sparkles." So that was a little disorienting. Also, I couldn't change the key bindings. I don't know if that's been fixed since I played. I think I played on Wednesday for about 25 minutes. I couldn't change the key bindings. So R is to interact with things. And the couple things that I was able to interact with, I wasn't sure if it was working properly at first because there's like a little green box that kind of zooms over the item, right? So like I was looking in a plane, for instance, and there looked like a tape recorder, like old school that you would listen, like you would, record your professor. That's what it kind of looked like. And I guess it was supposed to be like a black box of a plane. So it showed a green little box and I hit R and I didn't hear a sound like a click to tell me like, oh, it worked. I didn't hear anything at first, and I'm kind of looking around because if you stop moving, time stops, right? So I didn't want my time to stop. So I'm kind of, shuffling back and forth and I'm listening and I don't hear anything at first. And then I start to hear like faint screaming, but it didn't seem like it was coming from the device itself, if that makes sense. Like it seemed very far off. And then I kept hearing more screaming and it turned almost into like howl. And I checked behind me a couple times as I'm doing this, and it was just dark plain behind me. And then the third or fourth time I looked behind me, a lady shot at me with teeth, and I went, and I died. I was like, oh, damn it. So
The
gasps count.
Well, it seems like it sounds like overall the sensitivity is just
And you
way
can
too
change that.
sensitive.
Like I was testing it, and I was like, okay, 1 2 1 2, I can talk. Okay, great. It seems that any peakness in your voice that gets caught counts as a scream. But I was watching Brit play, and her TikTok is hilarious. She's playing. Now, the monster makes a lot of noises. It kind of sounds like it's farting and growling at the same time. I don't know how to explain it other than that. But I think the sound came through her headphones, because the only response that she did, and everyone look at my face, she did this. And that was it. And it was like, boom, you lost. And she's like, wait, what? So my only thought was the sound from the monster from her headphones picked up on the mic, and that's how she lost. So maybe check your volumes for your headphones, or wear the ones that I wear that like vibrate your ear. Unfortunately, when anyone gasps in my ears, like I lose my eardrums for about a minute. But the game is very interesting. There is no plot. They do pause the time in certain areas so that you can kind of like look around and investigate. If you are a horror fan, you do know when things are coming. It caught me off guard the first time, because I looked behind me and I was like, this is your time. Come on, come out and scare me. And nothing happened the first 2 times I looked. And then I was like, all right, I'm leaving. And as I turn around, it, bam, got me. So it is pretty...
It's actually a good point that Don kind of point out. If you mute your microphone, you basically will win, right?
Nope. It pops up with a huge microphone showing that you've muted it.
Oh.
And your time pauses. So you can't mute your mic, because then your time pauses, and that 18 minutes of walking around and exploring is no longer viable. So if you notice here, this is actually what I was playing. So I came up to the machine and I was like, oh, I want to interact with it. Can I have a sody pop? And it said, nope. And he said, okay. So I kept walking, and then I was like, oh man, this woods area is kind of dense. Maybe I should go back. And then I saw the plane and I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, oh, it's starting to get dark. Maybe I don't go into the woods, because I won't be able to see. And then I blinked. It essentially made the motion that I blinked, and then it was pitch black and I had a flashlight. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. So it transitions you from daytime. I want to say the first like 3 to 4 minutes, you do have a little bit of daylight. Obviously, there's a lot of tree coverage. This is exactly where I went. I was like, oh, I should go investigate that. Okay, maybe not right now. Did you secretly record me? Dang, this is exactly what I was doing. So
Maybe.
yeah, you know, I was like, oh, okay, I should look in there. Oh, no, nothing over there. But as it gets dark, you can explore more of the plane. With your flashlight, you can see a lot better. But it was interesting. I the reviews made me cackle. My cat meowed. I died. I've been extra jumpy lately, and maybe it's because I lost. See, there you go. See, it's nighttime now. Oh wow, they got the flashlight. I don't know if I'm desensitized because I just haven't been playing games as much. I've been watching a lot of horror movies, and a few of them have made me jump. And I was like, oh, you're turning into a little weenie. Get over it. I scared myself trying to scare Adam a couple weeks ago. That was hysterical.
I just think that overall that this game, it just seems like it's well, first off, there's no way in hell I will ever play this game.
Oh, absolutely not. You won't. You were screaming playing Labyrinthine.
Yeah, no, right? 2.
In the distance, I just hear, ah, no!
Yeah, the stupid ghost, man. There's a stupid little wooden ghost. Freaking annoying. And then you hear these giant thud footsteps that's Bigfoot decided to destroy you. But then secondly, though, like if like the sound thing would just throw me off. Like the sound thing would just kind of like, don't get me wrong, I think the concept of it is a really cool concept, but I think that the sensitivity alone for it, I think would just turn me off if these like,
you can adjust that in the beginning.
Yeah,
you can adjust that.
But you really can't adjust, like, you know, your reaction of the scream.
Nope, that's the lady that got me too.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's a little
lady.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Well, here's okay, for 2 indie devs, this looks fantastic. There's gonna be more content. They're going to give you a plot line later on. I think they've made a really good idea here.
They made this
Number
look
1.
really good though for it to
And
be
Donk
like
says I was talking about actual mute people. Well, they do make some noise and they can gasp, so I don't think they would win.
yeah, if a
But,
gasp can make you lose, then I'm pretty sure the mute people still could
yeah.
lose too.
So yeah, you can adjust that though. So if your mic is a little more sensitive, because it does take, so it didn't have the regular mic settings of my mic. It had the mic FX, which has my gain and my filters and all of that on top of it. So I tested it out and then I turned it up a little bit and then I played some more and something really made me scream. And that definitely got picked up and I was pissed because I had like 3 minutes left. I think on my 3rd time I did win, but I was like screaming with my eyes, you know? I was like, don't say anything. But I had a blast playing it and I'm gonna play it some more. It's really interesting. This person adjusting their microphone. It's funny. And that lady moved and she freaked me out. She tried to like set herself free from the tree, and I was like, "Do you need assistance?" But she wouldn't talk to me.
Smitty, what do you think? What do you think about this?
Yeah, no, well, I know too, because I think this is like early access, right, or whatever. Like they plan on like doing a bunch more content. It's like one guy, I think.
It's
right,
2 guys
developing it, 2
and
people?
a dog.
Oh, this is early access,
that
right?
are developing this in Unreal 5. So I think it's a great experiment utilizing the technology that's out here. People are enjoying it. I saw DOS play it a little bit. So it's a fun game. I think it's a great concept that I think it'll be cool as they build it out and like it gets the story and stuff like that. Like I can see it being a thing. This is a game I will never play though.
What do you know?
Like you, I don't need that kind of stress in my life.
It's a stress reliever, sir.
Two
It's
guys
good
in
for
the-
your heart.
It is
It's
two
good
guys
for
in the dog.
cardiovascular. Come on now. It is. It's good for you.
The dog is the QA
I'm
tester.
good.
That's what it is.
Opie
But
didn't
it's
like
really
it
cool.
from the
I like the
get-go.
found footage style as well. That was very it's very cool aesthetic.
Yeah, definitely.
2 things.
I mean, to say that this was an Unreal 5, this was run on Unreal 5, like the look of that, like that looks like a real forest almost.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy on with the lighting and then you also have the VHS effect. So I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks like a very cool, like I said, the concept of it is a great idea. I just think I think if it's a complete game, I might take a try, do a dose of it, but you would have to force me to do it like at Halloween or something. I don't know. But that would be the only way. That would be the only way for it to happen.
I don't see you playing this game ever.
Well, no, not by my own clear choice. Hell no, that wouldn't be.
No.
But like if it was something, yeah. Well, hey, we know we like what we like. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. What can I say?
Okay. I poor Dust, like I was traumatizing him all of October because every night I was like, horror movie. He's like, I have to go to bed. No. I was like, too bad.
That's funny.
But yeah, watch The Boogeyman. It's actually really good. It's on Hulu. Not sponsored. It scared the crap out of me.
Wow, it's scared you. That says some. Alrighty.
And it made me cry.
Oh damn.
I know.
All right, Smitty. Why don't you close this off? What you got?
All right, so my topic's actually going to be short.
Oh, God.
Looking at you, Lex. Very quickly, there is a report about a dude. Essentially, he was able to recreate Angry Birds. He calls it Angry Pumpkins. Literally the exact same thing. Here's what's special about it, though, is that everything was generated via AI. Again, we've been talking about AI a lot and it dipping into spaces here and there and whatnot. The fact that they were able to recreate something. Now let me give you a little perspective. You're like, oh, cool, whatever, dude. Like he makes Angry Birds. Here's the thing about it, though, is that at the time, to make Angry Birds, it cost $140,000 to produce. They were able to recreate it with AI with a fraction of the cost of what the original was able to create, and it looks fantastic. All the assets, they use ChatGPT 4, they use DALL-E 3, and they use Midjourney to be able to create all the assets. All the coding was done by AI, which is scary because we're seeing it more and more. Even the finals beta, the announcers are actually AI.
Oh, no.
So they got a little people were questioning that and whatnot, and we're seeing more of that.
They're questioning the announcers. They should be questioning a lot more than just the announcers.
Not the announcers, just the fact their use of AI within that and not saying anything about it. I guess I didn't really like follow up on that story, but obviously it's something we can see with the SAG-AFTRA strikes and stuff like that AI, directly will have a direct effect on folks in those types of industry. But it goes beyond that. If you can recreate a game like that, the possibilities are endless then what you can do. And the amount of developers essentially is going to expand like crazy. The big thing though is as people are utilizing these tools, and we know companies, at least big corporations, they'll cut people and figure out a way to utilize this stuff. So would you say it's more important to start learning about how to I don't know what you would call it, a AI what's the word I'm trying to engineer, almost like somebody that knows the correct prompts, because you need to know how to correctly prompt something in order for it to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish.
That's just scripting at that point, right? So I mean, like learning how to script and how to code at that point of somewhat with all of these, because these are like,
I don't even think you need to do that. I mean, I think you should have some sort of base knowledge, but I mean,
I'm talking about
essentially
the back end for
do
AI.
it all through AI. It can not only script the stuff, but then it can go back and check its own work.
I'm talking about script. I'm talking about scripting in AI. I feel like to troubleshoot the AI itself, not the game or whatever it's creating. Yeah, but
I don't know what that even would look like in terms of, like what's it pull it from? Where does it even come up with that stuff? I imagine it's got to be scraped from somewhere, either that or it's learned models, essentially is what they're doing. But I don't know what that looks like in terms of,
I forgot,
like, this isn't like being run by AI. Everything in the game was created by AI. But it sounds like you're talking about like AI actually like controlling things within. I'm talking
about AI is the one that's creating the game. I'm talking about you as the human, as the individual, to be the guy that would control, that would be able to go in AI itself, like ChatGPT or so and so themselves, to kind of see the troubleshoot. So like you're not looking at it at the game level. You're looking at it at the on the back end level of what something that's going to go on. So but for the most part though, well, first of all, I was going to say, like, who owns Angry Birds? And I just looked it up, and apparently Sega owns him. So
I know that.
Yeah. So like, for to say that they I don't think he's selling. Is he selling this? He's not selling this, is he? Because if he is, he's going to be in trouble.
I'm gonna look on my phone right now. Here's my thing: is AI has to take form from other art, right? So it uses things that already exist in the ether, right, of the internet, to then use that as a base model, unless the person itself is like, just take your form from Angry Birds and then change this to that and this to that, right? So I mean, this is just stolen. Like, I mean,
well, in this case,
right?
Not, though.
In this case,
I
what
mean,
this
how is
is,
that?
in this case, like, I don't I think they were able to get the image files of these characters, because there's no way in hell they made them themselves.
No, the
For
AI made it. They did it with Dolly 3 in Midjourney.
to make okay, well, like
Yeah,
because it looks like
everything was
this
created
looks exactly
with
like the
AI.
bird though.
It's
Is that-
not. It does.
It's not.
It's
'Cause
not on
it's
iPhones. You maybe on Android you
yeah,
can get it.
there's pumpkins. But that's like saying that you're telling me that there's not other ripoffs of games. That's
Oh,
what I'm
probably.
saying. Like,
No, there definitely
there
is,
definitely
especially in the
is. So, like, I don't think that's the
iPhone.
issue. I think it's more about the fact that these AI gathered from other works to be able to create that stuff. And again, I think that's the legal kind of gray area that we're in now. Like, does the
Yeah.
federal government step in and say, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, this is copyright infringement. Right now, that's not the case. But ethically, people
But at the
also
same
are looking at it
time,
like, yo,
dude, at the same
I don't
time, that means
know.
that's saying like a Joe Schmo, if they know how to navigate an AI, navigate with AI like ChatGPT, and then like you said this person used three different AI technologies to get this to work. Like if a person knows how to do this kind of stuff, that means any Joe Schmo can decide to say, "Hey, let's make a game," and then
Right.
just copy and then copy it towards that. So yeah, there's going to have to be some sort of levels of checks and balances towards that. It just since we're kind of in a weird, Wild West situation with AI, since nothing's on the books on it, not yet. Kind of like with the like with the internet, it's scary. But I think that once we get to these situations where it gets questionable, like this is very questionable in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
That will that you'll actually start seeing direct, can show direct examples of what AI can do and what it can do it, but but you shouldn't do it. Then we're probably going to see a lot more of these here in the near future.
Well, and you're exactly right, Doc. It's all tools. There's still a human element to it, but it's more of the shifting of, do I learn, or do I jump into how do I talk to these things to create that stuff? I think that's going to end up being, or that is a job essentially now.
Mhm.
And like you're saying, especially the accessibility of everybody being able to, I mean, what's to say that anybody, and you're right, you still have to understand some sort of coding, but like there's a whole nother AI that'll take code and tell you what the errors are and fix them and stuff like that. Like there's there's tools on tops of tools on tops of tools, all that stuff. But it's just interesting to see, because you know that there's that, but there's always going to be somebody that's going to push the limits, push the boundaries to either where people are like, wait a second, that is objectively wrong.
Right.
But I think for the most part, in practical uses, some form of these tools are either, and we're seeing it in more and more games. I think it's cool for like characters in a like, let's say an RPG or something like that. But at the same time, that means that they can generate the voices. I think it's cool that I think it'd be cool if they but I don't know how you would even do that to where, it's somebody was paid to do the voice, but AI is able to think and develop as the story goes along. I think would be cool. It's a weird space, man. Like, again, I don't know where I sit with the stuff, because I play around with some of it too, but like, again, there's always the ethical sense of it as well. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, hey, I'm gonna hop in on the train before legal stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, I wish Ravage was still in here, because he's played around with some of the AIs, and he's made artwork of like me in AI. And it's interesting because it'll pull from like other people who are also light skinned,
References.
light eyes. Yeah. Like one in particular, I remember thinking like, oh, that reminds me of like a publicity photo that Emma Stone took. And sure enough, it was the same pose, but then AI took my face and kind of generated it on top of it and then played off
Oh,
of that.
weird.
Yeah. So it's just it's one of those like, I don't like, this is just straight stolen. it feels like to me. I mean, again, it's not on the Apple Store. Like you can probably get it if you don't have an iPhone, but I find it interesting. Like, are they selling it? Like, I want more info because if they're selling it, like that's a huge other red flag, and then they're gonna
Mhm.
get roasted real soon. I don't know. Just saying.
I
Because
don't think.
even like the little bad guys, they look like the green bird with a different face instead of the pigs, which are normally green.
Uh,
Are the bad guys, but it's like they flip-flopped and they took the green angry bird, put him in the bad guys section, and then put a different face on it. Does that make sense? So, yeah, like that's ooh, I don't know. Just I'll shut up.
mean,
I
we'll
think
see.
if anything, it's more of a use case experiment to show people, hey, look,
Look what I can do.
you
Look
can
what
create
AI.
a whole
Look what
ass
AI
game.
can do.
Again,
Yeah.
that's
Do it.
the overall
I can
part.
do.
We didn't get into the oh yeah, by the way, I need to understand coding. I need to understand if this
Yeah.
works and
There's a
where to
lot
put it,
to
and
it.
that there's a lot to it. I'm oversimplifying what actually happened within it, but obviously there's other people that do have that knowledge. That then this is going to be tools that they can either pull from inspirationally or use directly right now. It'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see if people divulge this information. There's nothing that says that you have to let people know that this was made with AI, is there? Like, I don't think so.
Hmm. No.
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah, exactly, Don. Yeah. This
I
is
don't
essentially a
think you
test of
have
them.
to, but like in the credits, usually you put who worked on it,
Yeah, I don't think. I think this
I
is
think
just
it would be
saying. I think
deceptive
they
if they
did this so
didn't.
they can't. Saying that they can do it.
Right.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't think you should don't get fooled. I think it's like what Doc is saying though, in a way that I mean, well, in a way, but like it's not like the Joe Schmo can just go and just say, okay, let me just make a game and it makes a game. It's like you got to know what you're
Right.
doing.
Right.
Learn how to navigate to do it or have an understanding of what the AI programs you're using for it to do, and then you have to assemble it because it's not like it's going
Right.
to just go in and just do the direct script the scripting directly for it yourselves, so yeah.
Well,
So but still it's just to say, but still but even at the end game, to say that the end game still says that you could do this, like that this
yeah.
is possible, then that's still a little bit of a concern in itself,
Yeah.
because like it's not like, oh, okay, so now you have to know what you're doing to navigate to get to this point. It's like, okay, cool, these people, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people that know how to navigate this stuff. I mean, still,
Yeah.
even,
Right.
I mean,
Well,
just maybe be less than the average the normal people, but it's still it's now we know it's possible.
yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be something to be like, okay, it's not going to be out of the ordinary.
Well, and quick side note, AI is like now getting into the court systems with some lawsuits right now. And so I think the government's gonna come out pretty soon here with their verdict. But Tom Hanks recently sued somebody. He was in like on TikTok, it was like a dentistry commercial, and it was his face and then AI doing his voice.
Oh my
And so he sued
gosh.
for that. I had a pop-up of one of the major chef that says you're a stupid sandwich. I can't remember his name, but like for his cookware that he advertises all the time, they're like, yeah, if you send us $9.95, we boxed it up wrong. We'll send you a whole set. And it's like, whoa, they're stealing your credit card, and that's not him. That's
I'm
AI. I
just
can
yeah.
hear it.
I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
like,
I'm
yeah,
getting
overall,
mad.
like with it, like we're just we're just in a period of what AI is. I mean, like,
Right.
just like how how the internet was back in the day. I mean, even though people are the freaking lawmakers are freaking stupid about it because it's still beyond their understanding and grasp of what the internet
Mhm.
is. It's still very wild west. There's no rules because this is something that we got to go by the makings or the skins of the makings of whatever happens in the case by case situation. I mean, just like how important the writer strike was, how important SAG is right now with all this stuff because they're trying to protect themselves against AI for what the bigger studios were trying to do. So I mean, like, until we see more and more of these things going into the courts, then things won't. I mean, we're going to see more we're going to see more and more regulations to it. So, anyways. Yeah, but it's very interesting. A very interesting topic on towards that though, because it's kind of scary though too to me, because like you already know, Smithy already knows that I was already hesitant on using ChatGPT for the longest of time towards it, and then I was like, oh my god, it's so crazy. It's all gibberish.
I've been experimenting with the stuff and just the different tools. Utilize some tools like for editing and stuff like that, just to help speed up time. But again, there's always there's still a human element to it. And a majority of the time, it ain't gonna spit you out perfection. You gotta go in, make adjustments, change things, whatever. But it's a good supplemental tool to help speed up processes and stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
At least that's the uses that I've found helpful for me.
Yeah. Well, folks, thank you for listening to episode number 197 of the CFG Gamecast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation, as always. We will be back again next week with a whole new set of different kinds of topics, but if you did miss out on it this time, that's perfectly okay. We release it at each and every beginning of the week on Monday on all podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Amazon Music, and more. So there is absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. They also be sure to also check out. We got a brand new episode of Pop Culture Gems coming out next week with Jacqueline Pignol, who is the voice of Rio Morales in Spider-Man 2. So definitely check that out. Or if you are a CFG Games member, you can get to listen and watch that on Tuesday next week. So once again, guys, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing out. Y'all take it easy.